So we're gonna make a small text editor inspired by Nano. My goal was that it's super lightweight. I'm definitely like sub 1,000 lines. I went and did a little bit of pre-work on it. With the editor, we want to be able to do the ANSI escape codes, and this Wikipedia page actually is really good. I can bring that over here. So this allows us to control the terminal from the actual command line, and if we just come down here, escape is like 1B, I think, X1B. Escape codes we care about are probably end up needing a bunch of these guys. We're going to need to be able to move the cursor around, right? We're going to need a bunch of these. And we want to find the cursor. We want to erase the screen. We probably want to do some scrolling. I don't think I put those in yet. And then there's a whole bunch of graphical controls, and I did basically just type up this enum. And so that was all the pre-work, and Z64 on the Discord, he shared with me his, and I kind of, between Wikipedia and his, I got a pretty good handle on what was going on. You know, just quickly going through this just prints out everything that you can do. It's just a utility. Nothing, like you wouldn't actually use this other than to just kind of see what it's doing. The actual escape code you can see is here, the X1B. Most of them open up with a left bracket, and then we're going to put in basically the value, and you'll have a termination character, right? So for this SGR codes, they're terminated with an M. So we can set the title of the console. I made a couple helpers for color. Technically, color is an SGR thing, but like for RGB, it seemed you had to add more fields, and I didn't want to have to do that. So essentially, you can put in RGB as int values, right? And it gets plopped in here. I set it up where you could do the text or the background, and so just set that to false and you get the background. The colors themselves you can do this way, or you can also do it in the SGR, right? And there's just a big old enum working its way through here. Here's all the colors, right? And that's that node of use RGB. I did not encode that into this. And then here's our SGR code. I'm not sure if that was a leftover. It might be a leftover from my first pass at this. We can, this will reset the SGR codes, right? So if you want the screen to just go back to default, from there we can move the cursor up, down, left, right by in cursor positions. We can move by lines. We can move horizontally, like absolutely in the screen. We can move to an absolute coordinate. Erasure, I did, so I set up an enum. Technically, this one only works on this erase. So you can do from where the cursor is down to the bottom, or up to the top, or everything. This last one, although I didn't find it, at least in Windows, I don't think it works correctly, but when you set it to 3, basically what this is going to be, it's supposed to clear the screen, the buffer, and everything. The erase line, if you go from where you are to left-right erase, or erase the whole line, then we've got, oh, I did do scroll up and down, okay. Stashing the cursor, hiding and showing the cursor. This is actually pretty useful, especially when you move the cursor around and do prints on the screen. Hiding it before moving it doesn't let it blink, and the user doesn't see it moving around. Then the where are we? The alt buffer mode is the other important one. So this allows us to basically stash. We can stash the state of the terminal. We go into our R buffer, do our work, and then when we turn this back off, when we turn this off and exit, we'll go back into the previous one without having altered the previous terminal. So that was the pre-work there on the codes, and it just didn't seem like it would be super interesting to stream, so I kind of went over it. The other thing I did ahead of time is I went ahead and set up some of the things we'll need for Linux. And one of them, I probably should have typed these up here, but I can just talk it real quick. So we don't have in the standard library IO control. This could be, you could arguably do this as a syscall instead, right? There is syscalls in there, but I just went ahead and bound directly to libc. And then we need the get and set adders for the term iOS. So really all the rest of this file is if you go into user include and then search for term iOS.h and term bits.h, right? And term iOS takes you to term bits, I think. I just ported that code over, right? And it's just a bunch of change and define into the double colon and move on, right? So there's nothing super interesting there. So that's kind of the pre-work I did to get us ready. Now kind of the same spot I am, right? And what we want to do is we want to go ahead and set up our terminal. So let's go ahead and start with Linux just because I've got that ready. And so when we go into the terminal, it's not going to be in, it's going to be just left in like normal terminal mode, and we've got to put it into raw mode. We're going to make a couple of helper functions, and so we're going to be set terminal, right? And that's going to be a procedure. Oops. And in the terminal, we're going to want to save the previous state, so term, right? And that's going to be a term iOS, and it might be, no, it's not a pointer. Okay. So from here, we want to do tc get adder, and we want os.standard out, I believe. Nope, that was wrong. Standard in. And we want to put that into the previous terminal, right? And that's, see if that's less than 0, we have an error. I failed to get terminal state, I guess. Yeah, I'm thinking so. So we can't really do much if we do that. I probably could do like an OS exit or something, but we'll just panic for now. So what we want to do is we're going to say that's the same as the previous terminal, right? And this is the one we're going to edit. And then now we have the terminal, and I wanted to take the input flags, I believe, and oh, yeah. So we're going to get rid of, there's a whole bunch of stuff we don't want. So we don't want the, oops, we need a U32 here. We don't want break interrupt, right? What this flag is doing is it intercepts, it basically disables being a control C or some kind of an interrupt. So that'll be one of the first things we want to do is get a way to exit. We don't want to deal with carriage returns versus new lines because that would be, I just don't want to deal with it. And then, let's see, this guy, this is a parity check, which don't need it on your inputs. Then this one and this one is really related kind of to our break, the interrupts. So we're going to get rid of all that stuff. So then from there, we want to do term dot C, I think it's O flag. And that is, I believe we're going to, oh, got one we got to turn off. So U32, O post. O post is we're disabling the output post-processing. So that's essentially, we want to handle all the ANSI codes, I believe is, we want to use just ASCII here. So we're going to say, we're going to be a CS8, right? So this is like, we're making a ASCII editor, right? And so then we're going to do term dot C, oh, flag. So this was actually the wrong group. It's the characters. And on this guy, we got some more stuff to get rid of. A lot of this I was looking up between Z64 had a bunch, like he just kind of had his setup for raw mode, and so did the Kilo editor was another place I was looking, because this stuff's, I don't know how you know this, not having made an editor before. So then we don't want to have echo, right? We want to have, that'd be pretty hard to work with if it's echoing back to you. Let me just get these in real quick. This one, IXtend, and then last one is iseg. we're turning off canonical. I don't remember what that one did. We don't want extended functions, and we want no signal characters. So like we want to print that out. Term.ccc, and that's vmin. Oops, vmin. This is all these are just things that pull out of the term bits. So we want to say 0, copy that line, right? We're going to say v time, oops, v time. We're saying basically we don't want to wait for timeouts. And then I think that's all the settings we had to do. So now we're going to say if dc set adder is os.standard_out, then and we're going to say in term, I believe, and then, ooh, missed one, dot flush. There we go, perfect. So that, and then right here, we'll do the same. So we'll say, in this case, we failed to set, right? And up there, we failed to get. That is everything we needed to do to set the terminal, I believe. And so now we'll come here to private. Right now, private. And now we want to restore it. So if you don't restore the terminal after you're done, you're gonna leave it, you know, green or something. And it's gonna make whoever's using it afterwards is probably you, not happy. All right, so we're going to do a set adder, and that's just a standard in. Yeah, so this was previous terminal, right? I'm going to put it on standard in, and was it still flush? Still flush. Okay, so this puts us back to where we were. This sets us up for being in a proper terminal. So now what we want to do is come over to the editor, and we just do a for loop, right? And maybe we'll do running is true. So for running, there's our main loop. We'll do print line, Pico editor, and then down here, Control X, and that is these are you calculate these. I think it's like 64 minus whatever the value is, and so for this guy, it's going to be 0x18. So then we'll say, oh, and you know else we need this. We're going to do process IO. There's a procedure, right? And we're going to say I want to have a static buff that's 1024 characters wide, and then we can do os.read. os.standard in, right? So we're going to see what's coming in, and we'll take buff, and then we'll say in red and error are these guys. Oh, for let's use red key. So we're going to say for everything we read, we want to do char is buff of I if char equals control X, then we're going to say running is false. So now we can at least do process IO. We can do else format.print char. In theory, this should work. So in theory, we're here. Test, right? Good. If I hit Control X, uh-oh. Yeah, see, we didn't get it. We did not get it. But we didn't... Oh, that's interesting. We're not interrupting the signal. All right. Oh! You're not going to interrupt the signal if you don't actually set it. So we can just set the terminal. Right. Like I was saying, we want to restore the terminal when we're done. Oh, yeah, that's going to be an issue. Okay. So what we need to do is we need to go to windows.odin, And this is going to be let's build Windows. And we don't really want to share it with the outside world. And we're package Pico. And then I need a set terminal. Oops. Rock. And I need a restore terminal. I think they call them, right? Restore. Okay. We should go, right? And things are working well. Control C does not work anymore. See, the 3 is what Control C is. So we're going to do Control X, and we're back in business. We're at least launching the editor now. So that's good. Now what we want to do, now that we have this working, what we want to do is let's run an erase dot all, right? So we're going to clear the screen. Then let's see, we're going to maybe move to, right? So there's the terminal is 1 based. So you actually, which is a little obnoxious actually. So let's just make sure that's working real quick. We did not move to 1.1. I'm a little confused actually. Was it this guy? I just had it in the wrong spot. Yeah, so, okay. Clear the screen, we write to the screen, we move to the origin. I think you could do 00, but whatever. That gives us that guy. The next thing we wanted to do, and I think I mentioned it and then immediately forgot. We want to go into the alternate buffer mode. Then we want to go out of the alternate buffer mode, right? So we're going to say alt buffer mode, alts. This puts us into where we're preserving the state of the terminal, and this puts us back to the terminal space. So let's try that one more time. Right, so now we're here, right, we're doing stuff, right? And then we exit and notice everything's beautiful again. So super important. We're going to set this into the raw mode. We turn on the buffer, we go to town, and then using the differs, we'll go back to the base mode we wanted to be in. So that's all working well and good for Linux. Let's get it where it's working on the Windows side, so we have both operating systems. And I believe Mac, like you might need to put Darwin up here, but I think I don't have Mac, so I don't know. I think this will work just out of the box for Mac as well, but I don't make any promises there. For Windows, right, we want to do previous in mode is, we'll do it this way, import Windows. So we're going to do import core sys Windows, right, I have to do win. We need to have an in mode and an out mode, right, so we're going to set this, oh, it's a little different than Linux. I think we need OS, so do for OS, right, and so then when we're doing this guy, I want to use Windows and have to spam that everywhere. We want to get the console mode, and right, what we're trying to do here is we want to take and stash basically where we were. We're going to fill in the previous in mode. Why are you upset? Because those aren't constant. They're types. The in mode is previous in mode. We're going to do a not, right, a bunch of stuff. And so we want to have echo go away. We want to have line input go away. Echo echoes to the screen. The line input is press enter to take it into standard in, and we go processed input. This one is, because it doesn't work, the ANSI codes don't quite work the same between Linux and Windows. ANSI codes are not by default enabled in Windows unless you've set a registry key. Actual terminal input. We'll do set console mode. And it's going to be the same thing. So let's go get you. Right. And it's going to be, I think it's still a pointer, or is it a value? No, it's in a value. In mode. Okay, so that is this guy. And it's going to be, oops, kind of the same for the out. Okay, we want virtual terminal processing. So this is the specific, oh, and I got it backwards. Or equals, right? Just get rid of you for now because I might get confused. So I want terminal processing, no. And I want, I think that's actually it. So then out mode, I think there's something you guys want to get rid of. Yeah, we want arguable, but maybe we don't want it to wrap. And come on. No IntelliSense the whole way. Sucks. So we're going to write this to expand it out. You can actually just take you and take you. Oops. Using Windows, that's probably an important reason. Yeah, we probably want to have ANSI codes here. What I'm thinking is we can say ANSI codes dot reset. So kind of a last chance to make sure that we're not leaving things purple or something like that. So that's probably good. Now we should be able to do Odin run dot. We are in the space, right? Excellent. Things are working. Our signal interrupt is not working, but Control X does. Next, the thing we want to do is we're going to need to know what is the size of the window. Get window size as a procedure. Right, and that is going to return a to int using in is a console screen buffer info. That guy. And it's just a type. Yes. We're going to make sure this is okay. So then we need to do get console buffer info. And that's os.standard out, right? Yeah. And then we say and SBI. Oh. Handle's a handle. If not, okay. Panic. Oh, figure something better. Failed to get screen info. Right, so we'll probably want to turn that into a grace fill failure later on. But nothing to worry about at the moment. So now we're here, and we say SBI dot. I think it's SR window size SBI dot SR window. This guy bottom minus SBI dot SR dot top. And is that all? Oh, he's at a +1 on him too. Because remember, everything is one indexed. And then we can return dims. This gives us our screen on Windows. Just take that and bring them over here. And same signature, but totally different gets. We'll say win size is a win size, right? And this is from term iOS. Term iOS.h. Saying a win size. And then I can say IORes is IOCTL. of os.standard. Right, we're looking at the terminal and need TIO get win size, and then it's going to be, I think, in size, assert, IO res, right? And this is, again, probably need better handling, but didn't get no size. Okay. Then go here, I think. Yeah. We have int ws dot. Is it just ws row? It is too. Int ws dot ws call. Hey, look at that. All right, we've got both of those. Where are we at here? So I just want to put in my arrows from over here. Let's see here. I guess we'll just put it here. We're going to do if buff I plus 1. I won't have to put a guard there, but get it. Equals 0x 5b. And this is the precursor, basically the code for arrows. To do guard for I greater than n. But for now, just say switch on char, I think. So then I plus equals 2. And I should just do buff. I. The arrow codes are ESC open bracket, then X5B, and then the actual code, then arrow code, right? And this is like A, B, C, yeah, D, right? So there's your arrow codes. Then we can say case arrow up, down, left, right, down, left, right, and then we can just do a move, and we'll probably want to probably not want to keep this for long. This wants to be definitely not what we do, but for now it at least gets us where we're pretending like we have another move next line, right? And then oops. So then this wants to be move left, and he wants to be move right. All right, I think that's all working. Just to make sure it doesn't explode, we're going to do get window size. All right, come over here. We're going to test it. Oh, because we're printing and moving. Yeah, we need to. What we want to do is just turn that off for a minute. Right, so now the cursor can go up and down. Now we're just in screen space, not in file space. So this really can't stay like it is, but it's at least showing that. Oh, and we did not test Linux yet. So let's do that. Moving up and down, moving left and right, and we're exiting. Pretty good. I think maybe call that part 1. Debating, do we go to a gap buffer next, or what we'll need to do next, in fact, we'll just scaffold it in real quick, right? We need to draw. That's a big fat to do, right? I think we're gonna do update instead of process IO, right? Update, and render. Much more like it probably ought to be. Right, so we do an update, and then a render. In the render, we could do like erase.all. Oops. Erase the screen, right? We are going to definitely need ANSI codes here. Yeah, so we're going to erase the screen, and then we'll just do it later. The update cycle, I don't think there's anything here. Got that guy. That kind of explains how an arrow works. Yeah. I don't love that we're having to, well, this part we'll make into a proper cursor, but what I don't like is, but I'm not sure how to do differently just yet, is I'm mixing my escape codes in with just the basic update logic. Like I kind of like to put the escape codes off in the corner. And maybe I'll translate that into an action or something, I don't know. I haven't really thought about that a lot yet. But this guy's going to be, you know, the majority of the editor, I do believe. This shouldn't be too hard, right? There'll be like a render escape code maybe here, and then there's maybe a update escape code there, but that's what it's going to do. Yeah, so this is, we'll make a little update here. POSIX and Windows works for both POSIX and Windows. Yeah, that's a fair statement. And what else we got? I think that's a good start. You know, we have a real simple editor. Again, he's not really doing anything yet, but we'll get there. And we'll call this one a video.